going to get to all of it here today. We're going to be in conversation about Rutherford County schools later on this morning. So plenty to do. Not a whole lot of time to get it done either. So we better jump into it, shall we? First of all, today's Good Neighbor of the Day, Kyle Goss. Kyle is today's Good Neighbor of the Day for his dedication to making the aquatics programs fun and accessible for everyone over at Sportscom. Kyle Goss receives flowers today from Jenny Harrison and our friends at Ryan Flowers Coffee and Gifts, along with News Radio WGNS. So congratulations to Kyle. If you enjoy the aquatics programs over at Sportscom, he is one of the reasons why. So there you go. Thanks to our friends at Ryan Flowers for the Good Neighbor of the Day. Each and every day for decades upon decades upon decades. It's one of the longest continuous running things that we've done here at the station. So appreciate Ryan Flowers. And you can show your appreciation for someone in your life, maybe a good friend or a complete stranger who helped you out, let's say the cashier at Kroger, whatever it might be. Let us know. Text NEIGHBOR to 615-893-1450 or head to wgnsradio.com/goodneighbor. Those are the two ways that you can get your Good Neighbor nominations into us here at WGNS. Birthday Club, something else we do each weekday morning, and it happens to be Lou Ella Washington's birthday today. Someone told us about Lou Ellen, and Lou Ellen Washington, happy birthday. You are going to receive the banana pudding from Slick Pig. Just head on over. We'll let them know all about it. And Lou Ella, happy birthday. Hope you enjoy your birthday here today.
Now, here's your Rutherford weather forecast.
All right, 54 degrees in Murfreesboro, 57 in Smyrna. Let me see if our Murfreesboro temp. Yeah, that just updated. So a little warmer there in Smyrna. That's all right. Going to be in the 60s again today. Some gusty winds this weekend. Got our eye on a storm system Tuesday into Tuesday night. That could bring us some strong storms, so we'll detail that after we get your short-term forecast.
Well, Brian, it looks like we'll see sunny skies here for this afternoon with a high getting into the upper 60s. We'll have winds out of the southwest around 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting as high as 20. And then for tonight, mostly clear, low near 43. By Saturday, sunshine, high 53 degrees. Sunday, plenty of blue skies and sun. We'll see high around 47. Monday, mostly cloudy, high 58 degrees. By Tuesday, a chance for rain showers. We'll see cloudy skies, a high of 67. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki.
Thank you, Jennifer. As always, doing a superb job with all of our information. Of course, we have partnered with Weatherology, and Ray Miller is their severe storm specialist, and so he is on our Rutherford weather coverage anytime we have severe weather going on. So you'll want to be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for Rutherford weather, because again, we do go live on the Rutherford Weather Channel to give you information that we have, of course, going out on severe, impactful weather. If it's a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning, things like that. We also cover all the snow and that kind of thing. Well, we're live on the channel during those impactful and severe weather events. We also post some updates ahead of time. Probably we'll put an update out sometime this weekend about our storm chances on Tuesday. So you'll need to go ahead and like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for Rutherford weather. RutherfordWX.com. That's RutherfordWX.com. That stands for Rutherford weather. And when you do that, you'll be updated on the latest goings on right here in our community. Covering Rutherford weather, okay? Not weather from some other locale. For Tuesday, mainly Tuesday evening and overnight, We have already been highlighted by the Storm Prediction Center in a 15% chance of severe weather from 25 miles anywhere around us. That is, when we get closer to it, that'll either be a level 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5. Once we get closer, the Storm Prediction Center just highlights days 4 through 8. Here are where we are thinking, could have some of the worst weather. West Tennessee is under 30% chance. Now, you may say those chances don't sound very significant, but that's, severe hail, high winds, or tornadoes within 25 miles of you. That's a pretty good chance in terms of seeing severe weather in that region. And so from West Tennessee, eastern Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, those are the areas in that 30% chance. Middle Tennessee, all of northwestern Alabama in that 15% chance. So the reason to mention that to you, it is a thing that we need to keep our eye on, okay? And we'll do it right here from Rutherford Weather. RutherfordWX.com. Like, subscribe, turn on those notifications so you'll never miss important weather information.
Good day, Rutherford County. This is Lee Colvin, financial advisor and CFP with Edward Jones. Let's get the latest business news from our financial desk.
Equity markets opening mixed this morning following U.S. inflation data that matches consensus expectations. The S&P 500 and Dow are opening around the flat line, the NASDAQ trading lower. And right now, the Dow is up 143 now at 43,382. And S&P is up 17 at 58.79, and NASDAQ up 53, 18,597.
From Wall Street to Church Street, that's the latest business news from the Edward Jones Financial Desk. I'm financial advisor and CFP Lee Colvin. Call 615-907-7056 or stop by our office on South Rutherford Boulevard in the Public Shopping Center.
Rutherford Issues on News Radio WGNS.
All righty, well, Rutherford Issues here on WGNS, powered by Middle Tennessee Electric, and through Sharing Change, MTE has contributed over $11 million to local nonprofits supporting meaningful causes here in our community. Learn more at sharingchange.org. A check of the latest world news headlines from CBS coming up next on WGNS. They're brought to you by Jeff's Family Friendly Restaurant. Looking for a great place for lunch today? You better check out Jeff's. Yep, good old country cooking, meat and 3. Have a good old time over at Jeff's Family Friendly Restaurant as well, and you will not leave hungry for sure. World news, then Dalton has a check of your Rutherford Roundup straight ahead here on WGNS.
CBS Radio News.
CBS News Brief. President Trump and Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky are about to meet at the White House. CBS's Weijia Jiang.
Zelensky's visit today comes after days of trading insults. He said, unfortunately, Trump lives in this disinformation space, while last week, Trump called Zelensky a dictator.
They're expected to sign a minerals agreement as repayment for U.S. military aid. The Trump administration is slashing more federal jobs. CBS's Michael Wallace.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is losing 880 workers, 5% of its staff, including some important meteorologists.
Measles cases are now reported in New Jersey, Kentucky, and Washington state after an unvaccinated child died amid a Texas outbreak. Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo in Houston.
We do have the rodeo coming up, and we have spring break coming up, and we don't want to be the next epicenter of measles.
CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
Got a hankering for a meal that feels just like food Grandma made? For 20 years, Jeff's family-friendly restaurant has been dishing out homemade favorites.
I had the pork chop, and it was very, very good.
Oh, this is great food. Well pleased with, well cooked, give you an ample amount.
Jeff's is open 11 to 6 daily except Tuesdays and 11 to 5 Sundays. Located at 467 South Hancock Street, just off MLK Boulevard. Once you try it, you'll be back for more.
I think it's the best food in town.
Jeff's family-friendly restaurant on Hancock Street.
This is a paid legal ad.
Hi, this is John Day of the Law Offices of John Day. For more than 30 years, my team and I have worked hard to help injured people throughout Middle Tennessee. Over that time, we've helped thousands of people get the legal help they need when they've needed it the most. And if we're not able to help or aren't the right lawyer for you, We'll do the best to point you in the right direction. If you've been injured, call the law offices of John Day for a free consultation. And remember, there's no fee unless we win your case.
I'm Dalton Barrett with News Radio WGNS, and here are some of your top stories affecting Rutherford County on your Rutherford Roundup for Friday, February the 28th, 2025. Last month, Rockvale High School named Coach James Counts as its new head football coach. Rutherford County Schools had a chance to sit down with him this past week, so let's meet Coach Counts.
I graduated MTSU with an ag business degree, just slowly went back to helping my dad as a non-faculty, and then just got back into it and ended up helping him for 24 years until he stepped down and I took over at Henry County. And just having somebody like that to kind of show you the way and, still do the things the values that he set. Just do right when nobody's watching, and, treat everybody the way, that you would want to be treated. I'm coming to work every day. I'm going to give them everything I got. Get those guys to understand I'm here for them, and, and try to set some values through the game of football that they will carry with them through the rest of their life with their family. Be the best son, be the best father, be the best brother, whatever the case is, and that's bigger than the game. And if you do those things, then the winning should take care of itself. Everybody's got the talent that God gave them. It's just, what are these guys willing to do? What are you willing to sacrifice? We want guys that the team is first, want to do things for the team, not to be selfish. We want to try to put those guys in the best scenario to be successful. And, I'm working on getting the staff together and guys that can help do that and mentor these kids in the right way.
A convicted felon from Williamson County is facing multiple charges after allegedly impersonating a police officer on multiple occasions. 31-year-old Lenart Biaiti was arrested early Thursday morning and is now free on a $12,000 bond. Authorities say he was attempting to pull over a driver on February 20th in a Nissan Pathfinder equipped with light bars, flashing a badge in an apparent effort to pose as law enforcement. The driver and passenger, though initially deceived, didn't stop. This was not the first time he's been involved in similar incidents. Last year, he was charged with carrying a weapon on school property after arriving at John Oliver High School in tactical gear, including a vest labeled Officer Protective Services and a duty belt containing taser, pepper spray, and handcuffs. That case is set to be revisited in General Sessions Court on August 2025. Authorities took him into custody at his South Nashville home, charging him with impersonation of a licensed professional, criminal impersonation of law enforcement officer, and 2 counts of attempted false imprisonment. Meanwhile, in Murfreesboro, the city has announced the appointment of Tommy Miller Jr. as the new Fleet Services Director, effective March 2, 2025. Miller will succeed Jack Hyatt, who's retiring on February 28th after more than 2 decades of service. The selection followed an extensive interview process involving representatives from Murfreesboro Police, Murfreesboro Fire and Rescue, and other key departments. Miller's been with the city of Murfreesboro since 2002, beginning his career as a mechanic before rising through the ranks to heavy equipment mechanic and later lead mechanic in 2022. Public Works Executive Director Raymond Hills praised Miller's dedication, noting his contributions to maintaining and repairing essential city vehicles as well as equipment. Murfreesboro Fire and Rescue is in the early stages of planning a new fire station location to keep at pace with the city's rapid growth. As more businesses and residents move into the area, Fire Chief Mark McCluskey says that the department is researching the best site for future fire halls. Planning a new station requires extensive preparation, including ordering fire trucks for up to 2 years in advance. The department is also considering the addition of a hybrid electric diesel fire truck to their fleet. Beyond equipment, staffing in the new fire station is a time-intensive process, requiring careful hiring and training. While an official timeline has not been announced, the city remains committed to maintaining its top-tier ISO rating of number 1, which helps keep insurance costs down for residents and businesses. Meanwhile, Murfreesboro and Rutherford County continue to lead Tennessee's growth, with the latest study from the University of Tennessee's Boyd Center for Business and Economic Research confirming that Rutherford County had the highest population increase in the state from 2022 to 2023. The county added 6,419 new residents, surpassing Davidson County's increase by more than 1,400 people. This marks the 8th consecutive year that Rutherford County has topped the fastest-growing counties list in Tennessee. The trend reflects broader national growth patterns, with the Nashville-Murfreesboro-Franklin metro area ranking as the 10th fastest-growing in the U.S. As Rutherford County continues to expand, the demand for essential services, including fire protection, will remain key as a priority for local officials. Authorities in Mount Juliet arrested 3 individuals on drug charges after a traffic stop revealed a fraudulent license plate. Police say that the Chevrolet HHR was displaying a tag registered to a Mercedes. The driver, a 50-year-old man, was found with cocaine, marijuana, and drug paraphernalia, leading to multiple charges, including unlawful removal of a registration plate. A 39-year-old Murfreesboro woman who was a passenger in the vehicle was also found with cocaine and allegedly provided false identification. She was later identified and discovered to have an outstanding warrant in Nashville. A third passenger, a 38-year-old woman from Nashville, also had cocaine and drug paraphernalia and was wanted for domestic assault with bodily injury. Meanwhile, Rutherford County high school basketball teams are gearing up for regional and state quarterfinal matchups. 14 teams are set to compete for the region quarterfinals, while PCA's boys and girls teams prepare for their state quarterfinals. A win for PCA would secure a spot in the Final Four. TSSAA has a regional quarterfinal games to be played in their higher-seeded teams' locations. WGNS will broadcast key matchups, including Stewart's Creek girls at Rockvale on Friday and Laverne boys at Rockvale on Saturday, with pregame coverage starting at 6:50 and tip-off at 7 p.m. Game results and updates will be available as teams compete for advancement on wgnssports.com. That's all for now. For updates on these, as well as more local news stories, be sure to check out our website, wgnsradio.com, or follow us on social media at News Radio WGNS on Facebook and X. I'm Dalton Barrett, and I'll talk to you later.
Ascension St. Thomas Heart is the leader in Middle Tennessee for heart care, providing the most advanced options, including heart surgery and transplants. Our nationally recognized cardiac team cares for more adult hearts than anyone in the state, from AFib to heart failure, using minimally invasive options when possible to help shorten recovery, making Ascension St. Thomas Heart your first choice for routine heart care and cardiac emergencies. Schedule a heart screening or find a cardiologist at ascension.org/St. Thomas Heart.
Friends? Yes. The financial partners whom you've built a relationship with at Old National Bank are still at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard location, right here in the borough. And so are the warm, homemade cookies.
Cookies are ready, dear.
Like Grandma used to make. If you need online and mobile banking, Murfreesboro's Old National Bank does that too. You and Old National Bank, better together.
Old National Bank at 2230 Dr. MLK Jr. Boulevard. Old National Bank, member FDIC.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Monsi Bolaños.
Luka Doncic out there doing Luka things for the Lakers.
LeBron needs help. He finds Luka to beat the clock.
The Lakers television on the call. They beat the Timberwolves 111-102. Doncic ended with 21 points and 13 rebounds. LeBron James 33 points and 17 rebounds. Anthony Edwards was ejected in the third quarter after getting his second technical of the night, bringing his total to 16 technical fouls on the season. He will be suspended for Friday's game against the Jazz. Steph Curry dropped 56 points, including 12 threes, as the Warriors came back to beat the Magic 121-115, while the Bucks held on to defeat the Nuggets 121-112. In the NHL, the Predators edged the Jets 2-1, snapping their 11-game winning streak, and the Lightning have won 7 in a row after shutting out the Flames 3-0.
Turn to Turner Security.
Hey, it's Brian Barrett. Here at the radio station, we needed a security solution to keep the staff safe while also giving us some flexibility with guests entering the building. I've tried to find a solution for years, met countless representatives, and they all said it can't be done. That is, until I turned to Turner Security. Not only is it done, it's done right. For your home or business, take it from me. Turner Security is the only place I'd turn.
Turn to Turner Security.
This is News Radio WGNS, Prime Time Sports.
Sponsored by the law offices of John Day. Our expanded office location is on Medical Center Parkway, just across the street from the hospital. If you've been injured, call us for a free consultation at 867-9900.
Access Tennessee Sports, I'm Josh Copley. Starting with women's college basketball, the number 11 Tennessee Lady Volunteers were on the road last night against the number 15 Kentucky Wildcats. Tennessee would have their worst loss of the season, suffering an 82-58 blowout. Talasia Cooper would lead the Vols in scoring with 25, but no other player would have more than 8 points. This defeat puts Tennessee at a 21-7 record. The Vanderbilt Lady Commodores would be much more successful, however, against Texas A&M. The Vandy men took care of the Aggies earlier in the week, but the women would do it more decisively at a 91-58 final. Camille Pierre would have a 31-point performance as Vandy improves to 20-9 on the year. Switching to men's basketball, the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders' solid season would continue as they beat the New Mexico State Aggies yesterday 71-66. Even with this game beginning as a defensive battle, Cameron Weston would push the Blue Raiders to victory with the 30-point outing. MTSU sits at 19-9. I'm Josh Copley with Access Tennessee Sports.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate the information there. Also, Lady Raiders winners last night, as you heard on WGNS. Actually heard that Raider game with New Mexico State as well, the men's game, as well in the second half. So tonight on WGNS, we've got high school region girls quarterfinal action. That's right. It's higher games are played at the higher seed. This is the Region 4A that we'll be covering. And tonight, Rockvale versus Stewart's Creek will be on the air from Rockvale. Then tomorrow night, we do the boys' quarterfinals, and that will be Rockvale versus Laverne. So we'll have both games for you here on WGNS and scores from all of the other contests that are going on. You just heard about those games from Dalton in the Rutherford Roundup. Coach's Corner tomorrow morning. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner hits the air at 9 a.m. We'll be talking with girls basketball coaches throughout the morning, and for those teams already eliminated, we've got some spring sports from those various schools. And on MTCS Cougar Corner, we're talking MTCS tennis. So a lot going on tomorrow. Then tomorrow at 12:30, Lady Raiders versus UTEP as they wrap up their home series this season in basketball. So that'll be tomorrow, 12:30. Then we'll have the men's game in progress there at UTEP. Then next week, more region tournament coverage from Lebanon. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yep, we've got a very busy week next week here on WGNS. That's the latest local sports, Access Tennessee News. Coming up here for you right now, Will Nunley.
Access Tennessee News, I'm Will Dudley. The suspect at the center of a stabbing at a Brentwood neighborhood Wednesday has died. Brentwood police say officers were called to Lost Hollow Drive about a man who was stabbing a woman. Before officers arrived, a neighbor who was reportedly armed with a handgun attempted to stop the stabbing but was unable to do so. That's when the neighbor reportedly shot at the man stabbing the woman. Police say the woman is expected to recover from her injuries. The suspected stabber, who was identified as Julian Porter, later died at the hospital. No charges have been filed in the case. It's been a challenging week for firefighters across the state as brush fires have kept crews busy. The latest report coming from Humphreys County. That's where a woods fire kept Forestry Department crews busy for most of the afternoon and night. On Thursday afternoon, the Humphreys County Sheriff's Office posted images of a fire burning in the Paint Rock area. Roads nearby were closed for several hours. The cause is unknown. Overnight officials say the blaze was contained and is being controlled. More news in 30 seconds.
SRM Concrete. With every new day, every sunrise, we build structures that stand the test of time. And upon their foundations are our homes, where we work, where our kids go to school. And with that comes tremendous pride. We don't just make concrete, we build relationships, trust, confidence. We're SRM Concrete. Build with us.
A significant milestone in the road to recovery following Hurricane Helene damage last September. The Tennessee Department of Transportation says one lane of Interstate 40 at the North Carolina state line will finally reopen to traffic this weekend. Transportation departments in both states have been working nearly around the clock to reopen the major highway. Much of this mountainside stretch of I-40 is having to be completely reconstructed. Will Dudley, Access Tennessee News.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by the law offices of John Day and AmeriCare Pest Control.
I've got pests.
AmeriCare is Rutherford County's #1 choice in pest control, and it's simple to see why. After calling 893-7111, their staff came to my house 8 years ago when I had an insect problem. They looked at the situation, showed me the areas and what they'd recommend to resolve the problem. After treatment and with quarterly checks, I'm bug, critter, and creepy crawly free. Thanks, AmeriCare.
Call the best of the best to get rid of your pest.
AmeriCare, 893-7111.
Let's check those WGNS Good Neighbor events. Want to remind you the Discovery Center at Murphy Spring presents Wine and Whiskey at the Wetlands. That'll be Friday night, March 7th, over at the Discovery Center at Murphy Spring. That's at 502 Southeast Broad Street. It begins at 6 o'clock Friday evening, March 7th, at the Discovery Center at Murphy Spring. Maybe you're new to the community and would like to learn more about our local history. Well, you need to come over to the one-room Ransom Schoolhouse every Saturday morning from 9 until noon. Members of the Rutherford County Historical Society will be there to tell about our local history and answer your questions. That's 9 until noon Saturday. It's over at 717 North Academy Street here in Murfreesboro. And yes, it's absolutely free. Don't throw away Old Glory. Bring your tattered American flag to WGNS and let the girls from BSA Troop 2019 at Trinity United Methodist Church retire it with dignity. Plus, we also recycle Bibles. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
At Turner Security, we bring cutting-edge protection with live video monitoring, access control entry, advanced camera systems, and intermedia IP phones, all designed to keep your business safe and connected. From small businesses to large enterprises, our expert team ensures seamless integration and around-the-clock monitoring because security isn't just a service, it's our mission. Turner Security, powered by TechCore.
Rutherford Issues with Brian Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Well, we are back here on Rutherford Issues, powered by Middle Tennessee Electric, and their charitable foundation is called Sharing Change. And through Sharing Change, members can round up their electric bills to the nearest dollar each month, supporting hundreds of nonprofits. Discover more at sharingchange.org. Well, we're going to find out what's been going on with the Rutherford County School Board, catching up with the vice chair of the board, Frances Rosales. And good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you, Brian?
Doing good. And ready for springtime.
Me too. I just hope the weather, I call the weather schizophrenic sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you never know what kind of weather you're going to have from day to day. So
it caused you all in the last few weeks to postpone and move a board meeting, which is rare.
It is rare, but we did that out of caution due to the inclement weather.
Yeah,
it was a good decision. Ended up being that the streets were still a little icy some areas, so we want to take caution and not put people on the road and risk their safety. So it was a good decision, I think.
You know, that decision for schools, maybe you're going to get criticized either way, so you just have to roll with it. But we got a little surprise snow that overnight and early that morning, and it would have been not a good thing. So, I would hate to have to be the one to make that decision.
Right. But I believe that with Dr. Sullivan's leadership, I believe the school system with the students, the teachers, the staff, and the parents have seen that he's demonstrated leadership in making those really tough decisions. Whether you agree or disagree, he's always about school safety.
Yeah.
And he has that in the forefront of his mind when he makes those decisions. So I applaud him for that.
Well, I guess last night was your most recent meeting. Is that right? Or
Monday.
Okay, that was the change.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Part of that, I guess, is the information that I received from Rob Mitchell this morning about passing a resolution supporting critical thinking, chess, and conflict resolution program. So what do you know about that?
Well, I know that Rod Mitchell, this is something that's dear to his heart, and he's been wanting to do this for a very, very long time. Even when I ran for the school board and I was on the campaign trail, he came up to me and brought this whole thing about the chess and how it's been proving, and there's data behind it, that it does help develop children's critical thinking skills, and he's been wanting to implement this throughout the county for all of our schools. And so he's been really, really championing that, and some of our school board members have kind of got back behind him and trying to promote it. And so we were honored to have a resolution on Monday night to get behind his initiative and promote it to the state, and have the governor really try to put this as part of his platform and kind of push it out and roll it out to the entire state of Tennessee, because it's a good thing.
Sure. Well, and I think there has been work at the state capitol to try to make this go, and the resolution just, I guess, urges the governor to include that, maybe create a pilot program in Rutherford County. That'd be a good place for that to start. So maybe next fall, we'll see.
We'll see. And also funding. I mean, everything needs funding. And so the state, this is also to inquire about that and make this into a reality with adding the funding to it. So
everything takes money, right?
I know. You're not new to this game about the money. I feel like we're in that Jerry Maguire movie constantly, where Jerry comes out and says, "Show me the money."
Every idea that comes up, where's the money for this? Right?
Well, not just idea, just to run the schools themselves requires money, and so we always have to make a lot of tough decisions in trying to do what's best for Rutherford County schools. So,
you know, I saw some photos from the job fair, and thought that was interesting that we continue to have a lot of success with those job fairs. But one thing that caught my eye, that's just another thing you have to think about having to pay for, is the new Poplar Hills Elementary was at the job fair. They're hiring teachers. And so not only do you have to pay to build the building, you've got to pay to have staff in the building.
You hit the nail on the head with that. And just like we have observed how the funding, like how it works with TISA, the funding, the operational cost for every school building that's physical or non-physical is dependent upon the previous year's academic enrollment. And so we may have an influx of new students coming in, but that is to share the pot with the new schools that are going to be starting. And you're absolutely correct. We're going to have to get more resources. We need more resources to staff the building. So the budget is going to be a little tight for sure. And Dr. Sullivan has already signaled that, and also brought that to the county commissioners and saying that the budget is going to be tight again. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. You're kind of in the budget process, or are you just starting it, or have you been working on it since the turn of the 2025, or how's that been going?
So we're in the preliminary stages, at the very, very beginning stages of the budget. Normally the way that the process begins and starts with Dr. Sullivan meeting with every principal and kind of discussing what their needs and the wants, and just having conversations around what could be the reality of what they want. So it starts with that, and then it just continues throughout the process, making changes here and there and trying to get a more balanced budget. Because at the end of the day, it's going to depend on the county commissioners and how much they're willing to raise or not raise the maintenance of effort. And a lot of people don't understand that the maintenance of effort is what funds our local schools that the county commissioners really makes a decision upon, and that's dependent on how much money is coming to the county. So there's a big decisions that are being made. Plus, we're going into, on top of going through budget restructure and negotiations and reconciliation, we're also going through another major thing, and that's the bus contracts. This is the year.
I wrote that down. So
you wrote that down. So I'm a step ahead of you. Yep. I read your list before I walked in here. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't even see it. So the bus contracts, it's another thing that we're having to make decisions on. They have come out, the bus contractors have come out pretty strong on what they're asking. Inflation is a real thing. It's just a matter of how much we can afford. So we're trying to work through that and trying to find something that's reasonable and helps them as well and our county.
Yeah.
And they've done so much for us in regards to providing the buses and taking care of our kids and taking them to and from their home to their schools. So there's a lot of work to be done still.
Yeah. On that, let's just take, for instance, this next year, you're adding another school. The price tag of that is, I guess, was in last year's budget, so we could actually build it. But then you're going to add personnel for that school. The costs have gone up for the schools and maintenance and cleaning supplies and everything there too. And so obviously you can't just say, well, what we did last year, we'll do this year.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't work that way.
Right, especially with a new school.
Yeah.
Because you got to take exactly what you're saying. You got to take all of those factors into consideration. So the price tag gets pretty high.
And on top of that, I think it's important to also realize that the county schools budget makes up what, 70-80% of the whole county budget.
Absolutely.
So
just on the local revenue.
Yeah.
Because we still get the state money, and that's a different percentage. But the local revenue that is dependent upon the county itself, yes, it's a pretty high percentage on that side. It's very labor intensive.
I can only imagine. And now we add another for or against that. That's not what this statement is going to be about. But when you add charter schools and that money following the child, and we found out after this first year of it that you don't get that money until it's after the school year is over. So do we ever get anything worked out on that?
Well, I will say that there are some things that are making its way legislatively. I saw one bill in particularly that they're saying they're trying to separate the two fund. I don't know if they're actually separating the actual funding, but the actual numbers are being separated out. So there's legislation for that. That will help, I believe, in trying to make decisions for our schools as these schools are coming on. And really technically, and I think people need to understand the real issue with the funding is what I call year zero, when they're actually starting on day one with operational costs, where they haven't gone through a full academic year, where those numbers of enrollment will also fold into the total enrollment number, including those that are in our Rutherford County schools as well. And so then that becomes a little bit more easier to manage, but really is the first year, what I consider year zero, where it's more of a per pupil expense. So you're looking at the total number of kids that are enrolled in the previous year enrollment, and you divide that by the budget that was used that same year, and that's where you get your per pupil expense. So the funding for that is a little bit different how it's deviated out versus when we're just receiving straight up money that is used, that is generated from the whole entire TSEP formula. So there's the distinction between the two, how the charter schools are funding on the year zero, the first year that they actually said, I'm opening the doors. So I think people need to understand that is where the complexity comes into play.
I know you and I had this very same conversation after it was realized that this money is going to have to come out of our budget for almost a whole year, and that's not really the way it was designed to be, but that was the implication of it all.
Yes, and they're doing some true-ups, meaning they're going to change the numbers for the charter schools and how much they're actually going to divvy out. But originally at the forefront, we're having to set aside some of the funding in the event that this is the reality of how many students are actually could be enrolled. So the true up gives us a little bit of a grace, but those comes after a little more into the school year. And so we've been talking to them as well with the lawmakers and changing that and giving that more that we can receive that funding a lot faster. So we got an email from one of our representatives, and I will say that in Rutherford County, our delegation has been extremely helpful in trying to make these changes and trying to make it easier for us and helping us and assisting that. And so we received an email over the weekend saying that they're going to try and expedite those true ups and a lot quicker 2 weeks in advance rather waiting a lot longer. So at least we're getting those things, the true-ups expedited.
Yeah.
So that's a good news for
Yeah,
us and trying to get money, recouping the money back. So
the vice chair of the Rutherford County School Board, Francis Rosales, joining us here this morning. I did see that there may be 2 more charter schools that are being that have applied. I guess for
Yes.
Would this be the next school year or two years away? I think, right?
tentatively it'll be 2 years, but it'll depend upon whether they will find a location. That has been a big struggle for a lot of these charter schools here in Rutherford County, and it should be no surprise to anyone.
Sure.
Because we've ran into the same issue. We're having difficulties finding land that is accessible so that we can put a school building there. So it's going to be dependent upon that. But yes, ideally it's going to be for them to open in 2 years. And 2 of these schools, one of them is Novus. I don't know if you are aware of who Novus is, but they applied last year and now they're reapplying again this year. And then Rocket Ship.
They were turned down last year, I think, by the state, right?
By the state,
Yeah.
That's correct. And then they're reapplying again. And then Rocket Ship is the other one that's applying. They have charter schools in Nashville as well. And both of these 2 charter schools have indicated that they're wanting to serve the low-income, underserved population of the county. So we'll see how that goes.
Kind of Smyrna Laverne area too, I think, primarily focused with these 2.
Tentatively.
Yeah.
I also saw another bill that is circulating right now in the county, in the General Assembly, that will allow any charter school to be able to have a location within anywhere in the county. That means that if they're wanting to go into Murfreesboro, they can have a school there, a charter school, without having to go through the same process with Murfreesboro City Schools. So
the approval process comes and they could be anywhere in the county.
If that bill passes, yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't really know all the technicalities. I read the summary aspect of it, and you know how these things go.
Sure.
They're going to have a lot of amendments, depending on what the pushback is, or the support, really, either way. So everything is still up in the air. But technically, I will say yes, with the current setup that we have with the statues, it will be primarily in the Laverne and Smyrna area.
Well, I do want to go back, and our time always goes so quickly. Talk about the bus situation, and there are a lot of things going from a lot of different places, but in Murfreesboro City, they handle their buses differently. They own their own buses and hire the drivers. That would be such a monumental task for the county schools. I don't know how you would even begin with that. But I mean, there's no magic bullet here to this situation. There's going to have to be the 2 sides come together on something, I would think.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. You're
that
absolutely
happens,
right.
but
There's no magic bullet.
Yeah.
The difference between the Murfreesboro City Schools and Rutherford County Schools is that the operation of the way it's been something that's been a part of the county for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about generations, and some of these bus contractors, it's what they live for. It's their passion, because it's something that's been passed down from generation to generation. Sure. And so the reality of it is that where we're at today in 2024 is that the cost has gone up so substantially. And so so that makes it a little bit more complicated in trying to find ways that's still cost effective and serving the needs of our students. And so the board has a huge task at hand in trying to come to a decision that is cost effective and serves our students at the same time. So and that's something that's essential.
Yeah, there are so many things that are mandated by the state. Having a seat for every kid is one of those for Rutherford County Schools. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if transportation is part of that, and that's part of the argument that I've heard that I've had to disagree with, because that's not a requirement.
It's not a requirement by law.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's if federally as well, and I don't want to misspoke at this point, but yes, you're correct. And so there's a lot of conversations. I mean, there is even some discussion that was raised by other board members in trying to bring parent responsibility zones. And so I think right now anything is on the table.
Yeah.
So we just have to wait. We just have to wait and see what happens. But a lot of everything literally is on the table. And I have to give it to the chair because she's allowed the bus opportunities for the bus contractors to come to the board meetings and express their opinions and even ideas in ways for us to consider as pathways to be more cost effective. So I have to give her kudos to allow them to have that time to have a dialogue between the board and the bus contractors. And we've taken some of the things that they've said and kind of have a bigger conversation out in the open in our board meetings and trying to discuss if this is effective or not, or can it work or it doesn't work or whatever. So anything right now, we're open to considerations.
Sure. Whatever we can get those talks going,
That's
I guess.
right.
So.
That's right.
Well, I appreciate you spending some time with us. It always goes quickly, and I always enjoy getting to talk with you and all the other board members.
Well, thank you so much, Brian, and you have a good day.
All right. Francis Rosales joining us from Rutherford County Schools.
Greetings, friends.
At Turner Security, we bring cutting-edge protection with live video monitoring, access control entry, advanced camera systems, and intermedia IP phones, all designed to keep your business safe and connected. From small businesses to large enterprises, our expert team ensures seamless integration and around-the-clock monitoring because security isn't just a service, it's our mission. Turner Security, powered by TechCore.